And the moment I saw her, I could take you back to the desk I was sitting in the classroom I was sitting when she walked in, because I remember thinking two things. Oh my gosh, she's gorgeous. And that's never going to happen, right? And
Sure.
September 11th happens. And I remember we were in the field and we come back and I looked at Tina and I said, I know what I'm doing for the next 10 years. If we don't deploy within 6 months, I'm going to volunteer for SF.
How old were you when you joined the military? Right out of high school?
Right out of high school. 2 weeks out of high school, I was on the bus going to Fort Benning, beautiful Fort Benning, Georgia, for infantry basic training at airborne school. I got to tell a story real quick.
Yeah.
So right before I left, my wife and I, we'd known each other since freshman year of high school. And the moment I saw her, I could take you back to the desk I was sitting in the classroom I was sitting when she walked in the door, because I remember thinking two things. Oh my gosh, she's gorgeous. And that's never going to happen, right? And I was right for the first 3 years of high school. But for senior year, for some reason, right, she... I don't know. Maybe it's because we had a graduating class of 27 and our options were incredibly limited. But right before we left for basic, I was so sure, because I'd heard all the stories of people going off to basic. I was like, there's no way this smoking hot girl is going to stay with me when I'm gone for, 3 months going off to basic. And I remember telling her before I left, I said, look, I'm clearly not going to be dating anybody in Fort Benning, Georgia for basic and airborne, but if you want to, you can. Mm-hmm. And she was really mad that I even said that to her, but I was determined, like I wasn't going to get hurt. This wasn't going to happen to me. And I get down there, I get to make a call to her when I'm first in processing at 30th AG, and I didn't say I love you. Just, told her how much I missed her. She said the same thing. And then we went up to basic, and for like 2 weeks, no letters, no nothing. Every once in a while, one would trickle in for one of the other guys. And I'm like, all right, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
And then at week 3, all the mail stuff had got worked out. And I got a letter for every day I had been gone. And all the way through, she wrote me a letter every single day I was in basic training. And she flew out for graduation. We were right there on the Chattahoochee River. And that was the first time I told her I loved her. And about 6 months later, we were married.
Heck yeah. Still married.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And three?
3 kids. Yeah.
Three kids.
Girl, boy,
so
girl.
She's seen the journey of, well, that had to be a big commitment, because after 9/11 happens, right? You're at 82nd Airborne, 9/11 happens, and you make the decision to go to the Q course, right?
So we were actually in the 25th Infantry over in Hawaii.
Okay.
So I was in the 82nd, and I volunteered to go to Kosovo. But in order to do that, I had to re-enlist and then go 1 battalion over, because first of the 325 was in Kosovo, second wasn't going. And my sergeant major got pissed at me, because they had sent me to Ranger School and Sniper School. Like, you're not going to re-enlist to go 1 battalion over. I'm like, well, they're the ones going to Kosovo. And that was the closest thing to war at the time. And he's like, I'm not letting you go over there. I want to prove it. And I didn't know any better. I probably could have done it anyway. Yeah. But I said, fine, I'll re-enlist and I'll go somewhere completely different. And actually, at the time I told Tina, I came home, I'm like, they're not going to let me go. I'm tired of, I don't like peacetime Army. I'm getting out. I'm going to go be a cop. My dad was LAPD. I'm like, I'm going to go be LAPD. And she goes, well, we really hadn't planned to do any of that. She goes, what if you re-enlist one more time and we just pick a place that we really want to go? I said, fine, you want to go to Italy or Hawaii? She goes, Hawaii. She loves the beach. I said, Hawaii. We'll go to, great. Boom. Re-enlisted, Hawaii. We get over to my unit in Hawaii. That was in June of 2001.
Shortly after.
September 11th happens. And I remember we were in the field and we come back and I looked at Tina and I said, I know what I'm doing for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And so I said, if we don't deploy within 6 months, I'm going to volunteer for SF.
That's what I was saying. That's a big decision with a wife and you had a kid yet at the time?
She was pregnant with our first.
Yeah, to go to the Q
or got
course.
Pregnant with our first when we were there. Yeah,
it's a long, like all special forces, it's a long pipeline. You're weapons sergeant, so you're like at least a year, right?
Yeah. It was a little over a year with language at that time. I think it's a little bit less now, but it was over a year for Bravo. Yeah.